Live, local, now. This is WSFA 12 News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Randi Hildreth. The city of Montgomery has launched a new initiative to get rid of old, dilapidated buildings around our community. Some many people consider eyesores. I want to put things in perspective. This is a sink. It's sitting outside next to the crushed bathroom. We now understand that the suspects came from this direction and then went to the gas station. Right now, local officials are holding a press conference. It looks like someone is speaking. Let's go to that live now. Some of the new information that they released. We now know that 20 people were killed in the shooting. More than 26 people were injured. The governor spoke. He called this one of the most deadly days in Texas. And he's saying right now people in the community are donating blood, but people who don't live in Texas, he's asking just to really keep El Paso and Texas in your prayers. This summer, teens across the Wiregrass are trading baseball caps and sunglasses for hard hats and protective eyeglasses. You guys are going to go down the side with me. In the last couple of minutes, I confirmed with Houston County EMA Director that there has been another tree that has fallen into a home. About 30 minutes ago, I did get a chance to speak with the police chief of the Brundage Police Department. He says that they have not identified a suspect yet, but they are still bringing in people for questioning. And in Elmore County, some pretty strong storms moved across that area yesterday afternoon, causing damaging winds. Reports poured into our newsroom of downed trees, power lines. And just to give you some context about where we are and how bold this shooter is, again, behind me is the gas station. If we look just right down Highway 10, a block away, a short walking distance, is the police station. How the comments that you made in 2016 might have come back to haunt you. Why do you feel like the race was so close? In the town of Columbia, it can't happen because power is out, so machines like this are out. Tanya, I can't come out here and check out these bikes without taking it for a spin, so I'm getting ready to ride around the parking lot for a little while. I put on my flats so that I would be prepared. You can actually hear the car shaking as I'm driving over County Road 55.
I have a lot of the hot Alabama summer to go.
Headed into football season.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes, I get really excited. You saw my dance.
Oh, yeah.
I get really excited about football season. And speaking of football season, college football is right around the corner. We'll check in with Troy as well as the Tide and the Tigers as they get ready for the upcoming season. I did about a 30-minute drive around the Brunswick Plantation community. What I saw, a lot of flooding, and for people who live in this area, the biggest concern is that water getting into their garage. For Steve DeRosa, the calls from neighbors flooded out by the Caw Swamp and Brunswick Plantation to check on their home have been constant.
God, I have a list on my phone like you can't believe it. People call me every morning.
It's a task he took on, just a neighbor helping a neighbor.
I'm such a people person. Since the hurricane came in, I started going around then and been going around twice a day ever since.
He drove me around the community in his truck so I could see the damage.
This Hurricane Matthew was mainly just rain that we had to wait till it stopped, but this one it's all backing up and coming backwards. That's never happened to us before.
We saw some dry spots, but also navigated through brown water that reached nearly halfway up the door.
There's several pumping stations that pump the sewage out, and they're all in default.
At one point, turning around because the water was just too deep, a drive many of his neighbors can't make.
So they got at least over a foot of water.
Roughly 600 homes in the back of the Brunswick Plantation community had water at least to their garage.
I'll show you my house,
including his.
It's sad, but at the same point, like I say, most people only got water in the garage. So if that's the worst that happened to you, you can live with that.
Now the hope is that this water will dry up in this community by next week. In Brunswick County, Randi Hildreth. The sound of gunfire rips through GWC housing complex Monday. Police say the targets, responding officers. A scary and what seems to be reoccurring scene.
In my 18 months, that's at least the 6th time we've been ambushed in that housing complex.
Chief Spencer Collier says officers were lured to the area responding to a 911 call and then raining gunfire from high-powered weapons.
Our chief investigator was in his vehicle and was shot at least 10 to 12 times. And by the grace of God, he was not hit.
Here's the bullet hole where they hit the truck, and it was aimed toward him in the driver's seat of the car.
Lieutenant Torrey Neely was driving the patrol truck that night. Neely says he's been targeted before responding at GWC, and now when a call comes, he doesn't know what to expect.
I exited the vehicle. I'm extremely cautious and paying attention to what's going on.
It's like we're fighting a war. And this is what happens every time a police respond to a call.
Jump out of a car and fire at cops 2 blocks away. It makes you as an absolute coward.
But the department says change is coming.
They're going to see more police officers in GWC than they've ever seen in their life.
On Friday mornings, the sound of music rings through the training room. Health fitness instructor Samika Parks calls out the exercises for today's Rock Steady boxing course.
An hour and a half of fun. I call it fun. My participants would call it another word.
After the warm-up, the real work begins.
There you go. Thank you. You put boxing gloves on somebody and this fight comes out of nowhere. We're going to start with the speed bag.
Today's personal fight for class participants stop their progression of Parkinson's disease. Kathleen Martin was diagnosed with the disease several years ago.
It's a lot of hard work, and it really gets you going. But with Parkinson's, that's the secret. You've got to keep moving.
Studies show that people diagnosed with Parkinson's slow the progression of the disease if they're more active.
I was born from a guy that had Parkinson's who was very active. He started working out again, and he started to see that his symptoms, his tremor, his gait, even some cognitive issues were getting better.
Participants move through each station, knuckled fist to boxing bag, fighting.
Once they have the fight, I have the tools. We put those two things together, and we're unstoppable.
When I learned in the beginning I had it, I was so depressed. And I just thought, oh, my world's coming to an end. When I found out about this, I realized it wasn't coming to an end. Since I've been doing it, I find myself better now than I was, I think, before I had Parkinson's. I just keep moving.